The opinions and views expressed by individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of this network, their group, or other organization they may be involved with.
I'm looking at myself, reflections of my mind. It's just the kind of day to leave myself behind. So gently swaying through the fairyland of love. If you'll just come with me, you'll see the beauty of Tuesday evening news. Tuesday evening
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Psychedelic Reporter for this Tuesday, the 21st episode 110, here on NOK Network, the video news podcast focused on psychedelic medicine being reported in mainstream media. Shout out to the guys in Dead Ringer from Kirkland Lake, Ontario for the awesome intro track. Originally recorded by the Moody Blues with your customized changes for our show. I am joined by the amazing joint host, Tarra Simpson, along with the one and only Buffalo Various, who has chosen all of our stories for us. Hello, Tarra.
Well, hello, Hobbies, and hello, everyone. Great to be back after another week. I hope you all enjoyed your past week. Like to take a minute to introduce Bufo. He is our Sonoran desert toad, or Colorado mud toad. Did you know he emits DMT from his skin? And while that sounds like fun, park rangers would like to remind you, everyone, please don't lick that toad.
Good note this. So it is Tuesday, time for our show. I always look forward to Tuesdays now, and it's because of this right here. And tell your friends, if you sit in your hearing and you enjoy hearing news, psychedelic news from a puppet and a beautiful woman from Canada, then come tell your friends. Come check us out. I see you guys watching us on replay. Come and check us out while we're on the live. Yeah, man, just a great stories, great time.
Absolutely. Education is so key in this realm. I had some amazing conversations this weekend when I was at a legacy cannabis event with a lady about psychedelics and the use of like LSD and from a patient perspective and why other people are using it. And I was telling her about our show and that we bring this news that a lot of people don't know is happening around the world to the forefront. Because unless you go looking for this, it's not like it's advertised in a lot of places, right? So it's just amazing. And in fact, she is into licking the toad. So that was a really cool conversation. She told me all about her experience.
Awesome. Speaking about licking the toad, Bufos did not like the view that was depicted last week that he's like, I want another view on this whole psychedelic toad thing. So he came out and chose this high time thing saying psychedelic toad toxins could treat depression, anxiety without hallucination. Secretions released by Colorado river toads show promise as a therapeutic psychedelic, even without hallucinations. And again, the reason why this article is being shown, this is by Benjamin Adams. It isn't to say one's article was better than the other. This is going to give us a more scientific, non-biased view of the article.
Absolutely. Written from a different perspective. Yeah, I like it because there can be many perspectives in science, as we know. So this article, hallucinogenic compounds that activate multiple receptors found in Colorado river toads show promising trans-diagnostic therapeutic with rapid and long-lasting effects for conditions such as depression and anxiety. New findings show you don't necessarily need to hallucinate to therapeutically benefit from the compound. While much is known about the serotonin 5-HT2A receptor, this study explored a serotonin receptor called 5-HT1A, which is activated by an altered compound made from the toad secretions that's believed to alleviate depression and anxiety without causing hallucinations. A new study, Structural Pharmacology and Therapeutic Benefits of 5-Methyltryptamine, was published last month in the journal Nature. When sensing danger, Colorado river toads, sometimes native to the Sonoran Desert, release a hallucinogenic compound, bufoten, that's structurally similar to DMT from glands in their skin. The compound is also similar in structure and effect to psilocybin as well. The marine toad, Bufo marinus, and the European green toad, Bufo viridis, release similar toxins that can sometimes be poisonous to the touch, but only the Colorado river toad releases compounds considered a true hallucinogen. Wow, that's interesting.
It is recent. A team of researchers from Mount Sinai Hospital and Columbia University in New York explored the potential health benefits of psychedelic compounds from toad secretions and created a new compound that doesn't trigger hallucinations. We became intrigued by numerous reports of powerful, unique, and life-changing experiences associated with its ritualistic or experimental clinical use, which made us wonder about its therapeutic potential and the underlying mechanisms. David Lancry, a numerologist at Columbia University and co-author of the study, told Gizmodo. Since it's structurally similar to psilocybin and based on evidence showing that psilocybin can treat depression in some people, researchers believe there is therapeutic potential with toad secretions as well. Most psychedelics research has explored the drug's effects on a particular kind of secretion receptor called 5-HT2A. But the team behind the new study focused on a more obscure serotonin receptor called 5-HTA1A, which past studies suggest interacts with the toad toxin. A new compound made from toads with Smithsonian reports that slightly modifying the 5-MeO-DMT compound. The researchers created another compound, the 4,5-MeO-PRT. This new compound interacts primarily with the 5-THT1A and anti-anxiety without including hallucinogenic trips. It turns out there's already pharmaceutical drugs that target the same receptor. Given that 5-HT, the primary of the antidepressant medicines such as buspirone and viazolzidine, this receptor may contribute to the reported therapeutic effects of 5-MeO-DMT. The effects of psychedelic toad secretion compounds suggest long-term effects in overcoming depression-like states. Wow.
Wow, eh? That's a lot of sciencey stuff, but it makes some sense. Recently, preliminary clinical data suggests that 5-MeO-DMT is a promising transdiagnostic therapeutic with rapid and long-lasting effects. Our work and previous studies have shown that 5-MeO-DMT has comparable signaling potencies and efficacy at 5-HT and 5-HT in vivo, and both receptors contribute to its vivo pharmacology. In light of previous work showcasing 5-HT selective antagonists that alleviate anxiety like depression, like states in preclinical models, we wanted to investigate the role of 5-HT in both psychedelics and therapeutic effects of 5-MeO-tryptamines. Although 5-HT is a validated therapeutic target for several approved medications, including vilazodone and buspirone, the importance of 5-HT antagonism or agonism to the therapeutic effect of tryptamine psychedelics has not been conclusively addressed. High Times reported on the toad using its other name, the Sonoran desert toad, with glands secreting a venom rich in the hallucinogenic 5-MeO-DMT and bufoten, which invaded Arizona last year when monsoon conditions kicked in for the late summer. They can measure up to 7 inches long and have a low-pitched croak that inevitably serenades the night in multiple states during hot weather months. Local news stations in Arizona last year reported a surge in Sonoran desert toad populations now that the rain has started. While some research aims to bypass the hallucinogenic effect of the toxins, others are trying to enhance it for recreational use. They are sought after so much. Toad secretion harvesting has caused them to be endangered in some areas. Vice Media Hamilton Morris documented the Sonoran desert toad in detail, calling the toad secretions the most potent psychedelic toad venom on Earth, which also makes it ideal for medical research. Sonoran desert toad venom should only be vaped or smoked. InStyle reported toad venom is scraped from the glands on the animal and dried into a paste, which is later smoked. The experience is going to start with a 10 to 30 seconds, and then you're going to be physically incapacitated for 20 to 30 minutes. Alan Davis, a Johns Hopkins psychedelics researcher, previously explained to Johns Hopkins magazine. Wow.
That's who you guys need, Alan Davis, right there. Write that name down so he could be on Open Your Eye.
Yes, absolutely.
So I like this one. The thing that I liked about this article is they kept out all the rat shit that I didn't like last time. Like the whole rat study and whatnot.
Yeah. I don't think that really tells us a whole lot. If a bunch of lab rats are calmer or this or that, I really believe human research in this area is far more accurate than studying an animal. I mean, we can't even understand what they're saying. We just watch them, right?
Right.
Yeah, I hear you. No, this was a much different perspective. And again, it's showing promise around the world, and that's why they're studying it. So.
Yeah, really. Oh, man, it's dude, we hear toads croak all the time here. I wonder if I had them, I wonder if I'd be licking them.
Right.
But, so our next article comes from SeattleMet.com. And before we read this, I'm going to disclaimer. Before you start growing your own medications, learn your federal and state laws, your choices, your whatnot. I don't want to know about it. Plausible deniability. So that being said, best magic mushroom spores, 3 best psilocybin spore kits for growing psychedelic fungi. And this is brought to us again from SeattleMet.com. And if you're interested in exploring the fascinating world of mycology, then you want to try growing mushrooms. Purchasing premium mushroom spore syringes is a great way to get started. Available in a wide variety of strains and species, mushroom spore syringes are typically part of larger kits that also include materials needed to grow. And this is off of Team Discovery.
Yeah, so if you're interested in exploring the fascinating world of mycology, then you may want to try growing mushrooms. Purchasing premium spore syringes is a great way to get started. Available in a wide variety of strains and species, mushroom spore syringes are typically part of larger grow kits that also include materials needed to grow psilocybin mushrooms. Whether you live in an urban area and don't have access to a garden or simply prefer the comfort and convenience of home, these kits make it easy to grow psilocybin mushrooms without needing any special skills or high-tech lab equipment. With so many options available, finding the right kit to help you grow magic mushrooms can be challenging. If you're ready to embark on a mushroom growing journey but don't know where to begin, we're here to help. We've combed through a large pool of offerings to bring you the 3 best kits available online. In this article, we'll delve into the quality mushrooms and share some tips. Keep reading and we will discover the highest rated spore kits the market has to offer. So, summary of the best magic mushroom spores. Best overall, they're saying fungus head B+ spore syringes. And I would agree the B+ strain is something that I absolutely enjoy. I have sampled B+. I don't know if it's fungus head, but I'm assuming fungus head is probably the brand, right?
Yeah.
And then for beginners, their recommendation is fungus head golden teacher spore syringes. And I have heard that actually in the past from other growers, that those are the easier ones to grow. And for beginners, they're kind of where beginners start on their journeys. It's where it started, for a lot of us was golden teachers. And then we graduated to like B+ and higher dose strains. Best variety is fungus head FH beginner syringe mix pack. I'm not sure what that is.
Huh. Okay, so I clicked on it, and Fungus Head is the company that sells the spore kit.
Okay, that's what I wondered.
And the beginner's syringe mix pack will include our FH starter syringe mix pack featuring 3 popular psilocybin cube strains, a B+, a golden teacher, and a Malabar, each provided in a separate syringe.
Nice. So you can get a sampler pack. That's cool. If you can't decide, you can try all 3.
Yeah. So what are magic mushroom spore kits? Magic mushroom spore kits allow you to grow psilocybin mushrooms for research purposes. These kits typically include mushroom spore syringes and other tools to examine various mushroom strains and species. They're designed with user friendliness in mind and typically come with everything you need to get started. So again, a reminder. So if you're studying mycology, you're going to get a slide and a syringe. The slide and the syringe is for you to put your liquid specimen onto your slide and look at it through the microscope. If you do something other than that, it is not on me.
Right. Yeah.
Best magic mushroom spore kits. Best overall, the B+ spore syringes. Wow, dude. So discover the wonders of mycology with the B+ spore syringe. Our top pick for the magic mushrooms enthusiasts for dive deep into mushroom microscopy. This kit includes a pre-filled spore syringe packed with high-quality B+ spores, a sterile alcohol swab, and a needle for precise application, known for the ease of identification under the microscope. Thanks to their distinctive purple-brown color and smooth texture, these B+ spores are perfect for beginners and experienced researchers who want to explore fungal genetics or spore morphology. What sets the product start from competing kits is its blend and accessibility and scientific integrity. The unique strain originates from genetically isolated sources, and ensuring that you work with some high-quality mushroom spores available. We love this kit. It doesn't the sterile needles and alcohol swabs to make research, so it's rather microscope, and your experienced mycologist looking for reliable, diverse quality experiences, making the number one choice. Da 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 da. Pros: physically distinct strain for easy identification, include mushroom spores and essential tools, easy for beginners and seasoned enthusiasts, genetically isolated for the purest possible results. The con is do not store directly in sunlight.
Right. So the second strain, best for beginners, is the Golden Teacher Spore Syringe. Explore the mycology with the Fungus Head Golden Teacher Spore Syringe, a standout choice. The kit perfectly balances quality and ease of use, making it a fan favorite among new explorers and experienced cultivators alike. It comes with a pre-filled syringe, lab-grade spores, and sterile research needle. The unique strain is resistant to contamination and boasts impressive physical characteristics, including eye-catching broad golden caps and thick winding stems. Neat. Whether you're starting your journey into microscopy or sharpening existing skills, these spores offer an engaging experience. They survive well under various conditions thanks to their high resistance to contamination, which we know is important. A major plus for anyone looking to avoid common pitfalls in their research process. Plus, understanding the distinctive structure of their spores adds an extra layer of intrigue for meticulous study. For those navigating legal restrictions, Fungus Head has thoughtfully ensured compliance by limiting sales of its mushroom spore syringes to areas where it's permitted. Oh, isn't that cool? Many reviewers were impressed with the quality of the mushroom spores and the spore syringes, and they appreciated its kit's user friendliness and inclusion of the extra needle. So that's cool. Pros is you get the sterile needle for research purposes. It's user-friendly. You get detailed instructions. The contamination-resistant spores, that's very cool because that tends to be where people go wrong, is they contaminate their batch somehow. Suitable for beginners and experienced researchers. And then the cons are delivery to certain states unavailable due to legal restrictions.
The best variety is the starter mix pack. Get ready to embark on a fascinating. Well, we pretty much read that already. I read that when I went to Fungus Head.
Yeah.
Okay, so how we chose the best magic mushroom spore kits. Right, you only chose your companies. Just kidding. A magic mushroom spore kit can break out spore studying experiences. And we crafted this list. We wanted to be sure to recommend only the best products to our readers. Below, we outline the factors that play key roles in meticulous selection process. Easy to use, researching mushrooms should be enjoyable experiences. It's why we focus on kits designed for the easy of use, and all the products featured above user-friendly include detailed instructions to guide through the process of researching psilocybin mushrooms. Custom reviews was the other factor. Kit inclusions, we sought out sets that go beyond minimum to include our tools and essentials in addition to mushroom spore syringes. How to find the best mushroom kits for you. Growing mushrooms from exotic mushroom spores can be fun and educational. To ensure the best possible experience, it is essential to choose your spore kit carefully. You want to tell us about the quality of materials?
Yeah, so quality is one of the most important factors to consider when purchasing a spore kit. We're not only talking about the quality of the mushroom spores themselves, although that's important too. In addition to ensuring the kit you choose includes premium mushroom spores, it's also crucial to make sure that the included materials are top notch. look for kits that contain lab-grade syringes, needles, jars made from durable materials. Absolutely, because again, anyone can sell a spore kit online. You want to make sure you're getting the right stuff, right? Mushroom strains come in a variety and array of species and options. Before purchasing mushroom spores, it's a good idea to consider the type of mushroom you want to study or grow under a microscope. If you're interested in psychedelic mushrooms, you want to look for a psilocybin spore. Great choices are D+, Malabec, stargazer mushrooms. I've never heard of them. You may also want to consider albino penis envy mushrooms, which are rare and have distinct features and belong to the Psilocybe species. If you prefer to grow mushrooms legally that don't produce hallucinogenics, then reishi or oyster mushrooms are solid picks. Reishi and oyster mushrooms are both what we call functional mushrooms, also known as medicinal mushrooms, meaning they're superfoods with high concentrations of various nutrients and a host of potential wellness benefits, which I would agree. There's so many of those out there.
Oh yeah, there is. And pricing shouldn't strain your finances when you're shopping for mushroom spores. Aim for a kit that strikes a perfect balance. I'll be honest, the site they used in the example here is more expensive than other mycology syringes I have seen out there from other reputable companies. So make sure you shop too. You shop around, but they were right about the reviews. Legality. The sale and purchase of psilocybin spores aren't legal in all areas. So you can't ship in Idaho, Georgia, or California. As psychedelic mushroom strains are currently legally prohibited in these states. So again, they're sending you the syringe not for growing purposes, okay? Don't tell these places you're using it for growing purposes because they won't be able to sell for you. They're selling them so you can look up through your microscope. Again, what you do that is none of my business.
Exactly.
Brand reputation. To ensure the best possible experience, it's key to purchase your mushroom spores from reputable vendors. Do research and read customer reviews. Oh, I just said that. How to grow magic mushrooms using the syringe. So you got your syringe. You may be wondering what to do next, and now you're taking it past the slide, which I just told you not to. Grow mushrooms, it can be intimidating, especially if it isn't your first time. So while it's a bit more complicated than planting seeds, it doesn't take long for most people to get the hang of it. Quality spore kits, include the ones above, typically come with detailed instructions to walk you through the cultivation process. These instructions may be vary depending on the strain. So preparation, this is key. If you don't want contamination, if you keep preparation each time you're opening and getting in your mushrooms, you should, your risk of contamination are down. Please tell us about prep.
Absolutely. So before you begin, you need to make sure that all your workspace and necessary tools are clean, which means like using some alcohol to wipe everything down because you want it very sterile. Same with anything you're putting it in, like the jars, containers, all of that have to be sterile. Every time you open the kit and go in there, your hands need to be gloved and sterile because contamination will screw up your batch. Just saying. So making sure that you're ready and set up before you make any of those leaps to start your spore kits will make a big difference in your mycology studies. And same with like your substrate. So readying your substrate, different strains require different various nutrient-rich foundations to survive. So choosing a suitable substrate that works well with your chosen mushroom species. Again, consult your kit instructions for guidance in choosing substrate for your strain. But you want to make sure that you're choosing a substrate loaded with essential nutrients and vitamins, and then mix it with water. Moistening the substrate will help the mushroom spores germinate. Be sure to moisten, not soak the substrate. Next, you'll fill your jars and containers with a substrate mixture. Carefully pour and spread the mixture into the containers, taking care not to pack them too densely. At this point, you want to steam the filled jars to further protect against contamination. So that's interesting. There's a bit of a process to this, everybody.
Right. Well, and I don't know if anybody watched the May 4th IWK 710 Daily Sesh with us puppets, but we had a guy that showed he makes his own grains. He talked to us about that. He makes his own bins after the grains to get them to stretch, and he showed us his grain bags and some of his already popping mushrooms.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, all right. So where are we? So mushroom spore injection. So this is another key part. Okay. So next you're going to use the spore to a syringe to inject the mushroom kit into the mixture. And so carefully remove the syringe and its packaging. Inject the mushroom spore at different points of the substrate mixture. So not all the kit bags have different point mixtures. If you poke them, now you got a hole in your bag. They have only a one injection port. However, you can do 6 spots with that one rubber thing if you want to. Now, I have seen others just do the one and it still spreads, and it takes the months. You're not putting the full 10 cc's in. Some people will tell you to put the full 10 cc's in, but you only need 3.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. And make sure before you inject it that you use a alcohol swab. Most kits, either in the syringe or in the substrate kit, will have 2 swabs for you to use, one for your hands and one for the kit.
Right, exactly. Very important that you be sterile.
Yeah, because otherwise you got wasted months incubating with mushroom spores. Mushroom spores love humidity. So you need to keep your jars in a warm, dark place to help the spores germinate. If you don't have a naturally warm, dark environment to keep them in, you may have to create one by using heating pads, room darkening curtains, and other measures to maintain optimal temperature, humidity, and light levels. It's also essential to keep your substrate moist throughout your incubation process. If it goes well, mycelium growth should begin with a couple of weeks. Continue maintaining optimal cultivation conditions and monitoring mycelium growth. After a few weeks, you should have home-grown mushrooms. Once the mushrooms cap are open completely, you can harvest and store your mushrooms. So we've talked about it before. Bufos has got us articles, one to pick, and all that. And other strains, like that was cool.
Absolutely. And this article goes on about the potential benefits of the psychedelic mushrooms, which we've talked about this before, with the albino penis envy strain being one of the ones they talk about here. All the research that we've done with Bufo has pointed to penis envy as being one of those strains for depression, anxiety. So they go on to talk about some of the following are possible of the wellness benefits associated with magic mushrooms. So mood enhancement. According to a recent study, psilocybin, one of the compounds responsible for psychedelic effects of the mushrooms, may help alleviate symptoms of depression, and some users reported feeling euphoric after eating magic mushrooms, which is true. Reduced anxiety. Studies suggest that psychedelic substances like psilocybin may help alleviate stress and anxiety disorders, including post-traumatic stress disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder. Additionally, a 2016 study revealed psilocybin potential to significantly decrease anxiety and depression in cancer patients. Pain relief. Magic mushrooms may be able to alleviate pain in individuals struggling with migraines and cluster headaches that don't respond well to other treatments by keeping them at bay. These mushrooms can also lead to increased mobility and promote overall well-being, which is true. I use them myself, microdose, as a preventative, and it's worked well for me, better than anything I've ever used. And then with the breakthroughs, I mean, we use LSD for that. Works great. Not saying that everyone should just rush out there and do that, but the studies are showing all this. So it's kind of cool to read that as a patient, I'm experiencing a lot of what they're discussing. And they are also using it for alcohol use, nicotine, other substances that people are chemically dependent on. So again, mushrooms are doing wonderful things for people.
I agree. And the fact, what are mushroom spores? I mean, we pretty much covered that. They're mushroom spores. They're reproductive organs. They're unlike seeds. They're not contained within fruit or outer shell of mushrooms. Small particles that resemble dust and freely enter the air. Most importantly, mushroom spores house the genetic information that the mushroom requires for growth and reproduction. Yes. So if you're going to go into this, I say, do it at your own thinking. Think it through. Think
Absolutely.
It out. Be safe about it. And it's fun for those that I know have gone through the whole mycology research into.
Absolutely. But just be safe. Don't break any laws unnecessarily. Just keep it to research, people. Keep it to research.
So that means it's medication time.
Time to pay some bills. So stay tuned for a word from some of our sponsors, and then we'll return with more articles Bufo has chosen, making mainstream media news.
Back in 4 minutes and 17 seconds here on Psychedelic Reporters on NOK Network.
Psychedelic Tuesdays on NOK Network. Tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Psychedelic Reporters. Bufo Alvarius is scouring the newswires for stories being reported in the mainstream media on the psychedelic front and passing them on to Hobbies, Puppets, and Tarra Simpson so they can bring them to you, our listeners, in this 60-minute video news podcast.
Tuesday evening news.
Join us for Tuesday evening news each week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all your news and information from the world of psychedelic medicine. Follow and subscribe to NOK Network on our webpage, social media, and streaming sites, including YouTube and Rumble.
Peace, news, and views on NOK Network. Patients everywhere advocating cannabis evolution with Kim Cooper and Sir Steve O. Joint hosts interview people in the grassroots and corporate cannabis space across North America and beyond. Sit down with patients, entrepreneurs, lawyers, doctors, and others share their journey with this medicinal plant. So join us for Peace, News, and Views. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where all consumption is medicinal consumption on NOKNetwork.com. Follow and subscribe to NOK Network on social media and streaming sites including Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble.
Put it all away for 30 minutes a day on IWK. The IWK 710 Daily Sesh is a virtual gathering where consumers meet up for a toke and some laughs at 7 p.m. Eastern nightly. Originally aired on InfoWikim social media pages, the IWK 710 Daily Sesh is now also podcasted on NOK Network. Rotating joint hosts bring you a variety of content during this 30-minute virtual smoke sesh. Take a break from the stresses in life and put it all away for 30 minutes a day on IWK. Podcasted nightly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on NOK Network.
Hey, dudes and dudettes. Enjoy the show, man.
And we're back from our medication session live on Psychedelic Reporters here on NOK Network.
And we have another set of stories coming at you from the realm of psychedelic medicine. So let's get at it. Man, I always seem like I'm slower when I come back from the people.
That might be the medication session. Just saying.
Yeah, this whole time I was sitting there just staring at the screen and didn't have the next article up. Yeah, right.
Medication worked well.
Right, I believe it's this one. All right, so this next article comes from RollingStone.com and Science versus Experience in Psychedelic Research. And Tarra, you've talked about this a few times. And this is the underground provides countless leads for research companies. Oh, I'm not showing the thing. Hold on. There it is.
Yeah. So this article, the underground provides countless leads for research companies to follow that challenges accepted parameters, expands science, and helps us understand ourselves more fully. So I've said this for a long time. We are the research. We started the research, and now the researchers are interested in our research. For the last 5 years, my lead chemist, Armando, has developed new products that people with advanced chemistry degrees have assured me are impossible to make. From putting powderized functional mushrooms into vegan soft gels and creating squeezed dabs with different cannabinoids and variable melting points, my guy keeps proving the naysayers wrong. He's done all of this despite lacking a chemistry degree, or perhaps because of it. Armando's out-of-the-box feats make me think about the current state of the psychedelic space. 4 years, biotech companies have invested billions of dollars in psychedelic research and development without any real products to show for it. Very true. Researchers are studying the claims that psychonauts and traditional medicine healers have been making about substances like psilocybin, ayahuasca, mescaline, and LSD for ages, most of which have been historically dismissed, sometimes referred to as hippie mumbo jumbo. But the more we investigate, and the more it turns out that we were right about what they believed psychoactive plants and ceremonies did, from increased neuroplasticity, ego dissolution, and the influence of set and setting, to the impact that the community care and intentions have on the psychedelic experience. What else are legacy psychonauts right about? Science and well-funded research companies are following leads reported in tens of thousands of anecdotal experiences. All psychonauts, from the ancient shamans to the Beat generation, laid the groundwork for scientific breakthroughs we are seeing today. Very cool.
Oh, yeah. So synthetic psilocybin versus magic mushrooms. Experiment versus experience. One example of the gap between physical research and everyday practice is 21st century scientific research on psilocybin. Psilocybin is the central hallucinogenic compound in magic mushrooms. The vast majority of this research is done with synthetic or lab-made psilocybin because you can't run clinically precise double-blind studies without consistent doses. However, this need for consistency means that we're drawing all of our clinical conclusions based on synthesized psilocybin, which is not humans consume in the wild, emerging science that we may be overlooking insights into the impact of actual mushroom itself on human brain. More than 200 mushroom species produce psilocybin, but some species produce different types. And that their healing power might be diminished when psilocybin is taken on its own. Indeed, a recent study showed that naturally derived psilocybin may promote neuroplasticity better than the lab-made psilocybin. And what researchers are not pursuing is what happens when psilocybin is given to a human in concert with aragonesis with norpacillicin and biosynthetic and words I can't freaking say, but some of the other compounds discovered in psilocybin mushrooms, noted the observer. Oh, wow. Tell us about DMT science.
What's that?
Can you tell us about DMT science?
Yes. So DMT science and the nature of consciousness. Diethyltryptamine, or DMT, is one of the compounds in ayahuasca, an ayahuasca brew, and it's famously produces short but extreme intense trips. A strangely common report is that the user feels as if they've gone someplace they've been before, common enough that scientists are trying to understand why. Think Big reported on this oddity. Unlike other psychedelics, DMT can induce a sense of profound familiarity in users, making them feel as if they have entered an alternate reality that they have visited before. After decades of these reports, even scientists are considering the proposition that DMT gives us access to another world or dimension. Researchers have actually figured out a way to extend DMT trips so that they have more time to observe and study them. More people are trying to map out the topography of the DMT universe, not just a hallucination, but an actual place we travel to. It sounds like more hippie nonsense, but psychedelic pioneer Terence McKenna was convinced that DMT confirmed the existence of alternate dimensions. Rick Strassman, clinical associate professor of psychiatry at the University of Mexico and the author of the book DMT, The Spirit Molecule, also posits the idea that parallel universes may actually exist and that DMT somehow allows users to access them. As the saying goes, not everything that matters can be measured, while not everything that can be measured matters. Stories do not equal data or empirical evidence, but look at how many stories of the past are not now being confirmed by science. The people who have been studying, consuming, and serving these plant medicines for generations are like space monkeys for scientific breakthroughs. I like that analogy. Psychedelics are pushing the limits of what we consider scientifically impossible. Growing acceptance of these compounds means we're researching what shamans have held as spiritual truths for years. What if the psychedelic underground ultimately helps us prove humans' ability to astral project, communicate telepathically, or visit other dimensions? All of these experiences have been reported by countless people over thousands of years of taking psychedelics. Wow.
Proving these theories is way harder than postulating them. Some may never be proven at all. But slowly but surely, as more evidence is profound for unexplained spiritual plant medicine experiences, people will be inspired to re examine the meaning of life, the nature of reality, and the potential existence of the other dimensions. Any pharmaceutical company would benefit from hiring my chemist Armando. He can show these institutions how he's found ways to make products they thought weren't possible. In the same way, the underground provides countless leads for research companies to follow that challenge the accepted paradigms, expand the limits of what's scientifically possible, and help understand ourselves more fully. Sounds like Armando needs to come visit a puppet. Wait, no, hi.
Awesome. But it's what we've been saying for years. I mean, these medicines were around before science. Just saying, right? We've had medicine people and shamans for many, many thousands of years, I'm sure. So very cool.
So our next article is the Neurotherapeutics CSE listing to advance mescaline research and drug development. And this comes out of it comes out of proactiveinvestors.com. And I like this article, the way that it was chosen, because you never really get to hear about the money part. And this is written by Emily Harvey.
Yeah, so Natural Therapeutics, Inc., a drug discovery company focused on mescaline extracted from the San Pedro cactus, has gained conditional approval to list on the Canadian Securities Exchange. That's cool. The company plans to raise 500,000 Canadian to advance its ongoing research and development activities and secure intellectual property with 2 patents in progress. Neural's CEO Ian Campbell joined Proactive to discuss the company's strategic decision to list on the exchange, which aims to showcase its value to potential investors amid rising interest in psychedelics as potentially groundbreaking therapies for mental health conditions. Ian Campbell, it's something. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. This is like an interview.
Oh, yeah. Let me ask. Proactive, you've received conditional approvals to list on the CSE. Why now?
It's something we've planned for quite some time, and we've been discussing with our seed investors as we move through a majority milestone and expand on our intellectual property. This strategic CSE listing opens up broader market participation that's timely and invites investors to directly engage and capitalize in our dynamic advancements.
How much are you planning to raise, and how would you deploy these funds?
At this low valuation right now, we're targeting a capital raise of about 500,000 Canadian that's earmarked for intensive R&D efforts, some of which are already in progress. These funds will be strategically deployed to further our initiatives to secure intellectual property, such as the 2 patents we already have underway.
The growing interest and acceptance of psychedelic treatments by regulatory authorities in the U.S., Canada, and Australia. How has your peer group captured investor interest?
It's very evident there is a mental health crisis today. The mental health market is significantly underserved by outdated therapies, drugs that were developed 50 or 60 years ago with limited efficacy. New science in this field shows that psychedelics can be extremely groundbreaking. There's a high degree of efficacy. It's promising to be it's promising to be a very disruptive trend to the pharmaceutical industry. For instance, we've seen over 320 million invested this year in psychedelic companies, and the psychedelic invest index is up 44% in the year to date. So through significant value creation milestones, it makes now is the perfect time to invest.
What made neurotherapeutics and mescaline as a treatment for addiction and mental health unique?
We specialize in mescaline that's extracted from a plant called San Pedro. Mescaline, the active psychedelic drug, it's actually known as the grandfather of psychedelics. It's widely accepted as the longest safely used psychedelic with nearly 6,000 years of documented use. We cultivate that through our partner networks, and we're working on the extraction of mescaline with other compounds that support its efficacy. We're working with a natural drug that has been demonstrated to be safe and has a unique capability to last longer in the body than other psychedelics. Unlike the traditional route where individuals go for treatment, take a macrodose, and have a psychedelic trip, we're going to make use of the fact that mescaline and other compounds that surround it stay longer in the body. They bathe the brain longer, and we can make use of lower doses without hallucinations. This is a very important process called neuroplasticity, basically repairing the brain and reconnecting those neurons, which is critical for achieving breakthrough treatments in mental health, such as addiction.
How would the CSE listing help you accelerate your efforts to advance your drug development programs, and what are the next steps?
Listing on the CSE will boost our visibility and showcase our value to potential investors. This listing supports ongoing projects, some of which are already well underway. It allows investors to participate in our success, and it ensures rapid progress and engagement with those who are growth-focused backers who can actually vote with their dollars.
Huh.
Neat.
Wow. That's I like that article. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Interesting that they're using mescaline. We don't hear as much about that as we do LSD or mushrooms or even ayahuasca. We've seen more studies, and ibogaine, but mescaline's one that seems to not be as top of the list in a lot of these studies. So it's interesting that they're doing that.
I like it. It was nice. That's one of those cactuses I've thought of. That and peyote. I'm still kind of shy about anything that makes you throw up to enjoy yourself. I mean, to me, that's the no turner. You know, that's like drinking, binge drinking. Everybody likes to go have a fun time with their buddies and stuff. But if you're at the strip clubs and you're sitting there pounding them, you end up throwing up. And I mean, that'd be like one of them, dude, but right away without the strippers.
Right. Yeah. I'm not a fan of anything that makes me nauseous. If it makes me nauseous, I won't take it. Nausea and vomiting is one of the worst ever feelings in the world. I absolutely detest it. So it has shied me away from trying some substances myself, because again, it's that fear of purging. But I do understand that purge is also necessary with some of these substances, because it's ridding your body of toxins and pent up grossness, right? So that's part of the purging process that a lot of patients don't understand. But again, it does shy some patients away, I think, from trying those substances.
Right. Like Pauly Shore says with his ayahuasca experience. He says Those are my demons and feelings coming out of my body.
And he's absolutely right. Kim and I on Open Your Eye have talked to a lot of patients and facilitators in different realms. And again, a lot of those ones that cause that purge, that's exactly what they're saying, is that it's the toxins and the toxic emotions and stuff that need to come out because it's festering in there and causing your issues. So, it's not for everyone, but if you want to get well, that might have to be the option, and it is short-lived, but the benefits outweigh that purging. So if you can just get past the idea of that and just ride it out, I think that those benefits for some people are amazing.
Oh, I would love to have mescaline, and I would love to learn more. Like, if that something like DMT or where you can it's a few minutes, or is it a few hours? Maybe next month or next week, Bufos can find us a mescaline article.
Absolutely. I'd like to learn a little more about it, because in his research, he was saying that it lasts longer in the body than mushrooms or other substances, even in low doses that don't cause hallucinations. So if it's a longer acting substance, that could be very beneficial for some people who need a longer acting relief.
I think it's a cactus easier to get. Like, I don't think
it is. You can get them in Canada.
Yeah.
There is a place you can order from in Canada. They ship them right to you because they're not illegal to have. They're just illegal to process.
Yeah.
So you can have them, just don't eat them.
So thank you for joining us here on Psychedelic Reporters on NOK Network, and for tuning in to our video podcast on NOK Network's Rumble and YouTube pages, as well as our social media sites.
We really hope you've enjoyed our update today on mainstream media coverage of psychedelic medicine advancements from around the globe.
Many thanks to our sponsors and to my joint host, Tarra Simpson, and to Bufo Alvarius for choosing the stories, and to you, our listeners, for joining each week on Psychedelic Tuesdays. Let's hear from Dead Ringer again from Kirkland Lake on our way out. Good night.
Peace.
Looking at myself, reflections of my mind. It's just the kind of day to leave myself behind. So gently swaying through the fairyland of love. If you'll just come with me, you'll see the beauty of two.